You're listening to Off the Deep End, where we discuss conspiracies, the people who love them, aliens, and a little spirituality. I'm your host, Emmy, and welcome to our show. Good evening and welcome to Off the Deep End on sportsovertime.com, where we are spending an evening with Ivan Teller from ivanteller.com, and Ivan Teller from his YouTube channel, where he channels anything from God to mantis beings, and he has his weekly Q&As answering his member chat questions and basically everything else you can think about. I think the recent thing is healing. Right now, Ivan's finished grounding. We're going to basically talk about his reset he has going on, in addition to recent events that he's done. And we may have a visitor in the form of Al Capone and maybe our prime creator, otherwise known as God. So without further ado, Ivan, welcome to Off the Deep End.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to be here again.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's been what's been going on recently. I went to Legoland and channeled there for about 30 minutes. It took me an hour and a half to get there, and then I went to Busch Gardens after that, which is a lot closer to me. So that's like 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away. So that's going to be the likely place.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, quicker, But I'm probably going to be doing more of these walks, channeling walks. Sometimes I'm way too tired, so hopefully the messages have some worth somewhere. So it is fun.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. You can coordinate all of that.
Yeah, it's me as for the walking, but it is them still running the message part. But the walking also is part of them also. So I'm there a little bit more. Yeah, I'm there, because when I come out of it, I'm right there. Usually when I channel, I go a lot further into, I don't know if you want to call it a trance, but the more of their personality comes through a little bit more when I'm not walking. But yeah, it is entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. And sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I was going to say informative also. So yeah, it's quite an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think they're very informative and very enjoyable to watch, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, how does he pull this off? Or, I wonder, how these entities feel like going on a roller coaster, on a teacup ride or whatever. I wonder how that happens. So very impressed.
Yeah, I don't go to the rides. I did go on the Sky Ride at Busch Gardens, so that was, there wasn't anybody around. It wasn't very long, but if it was longer, there'd be a longer message. But I get on there and connect to someone, and they do a short message until I exit off of it. So it's like 5-6 minutes. I forget how long. It's not very long. That was fun.
Well, that's good. Ivan, I understand that you are also doing healings, right? That's the recent thing that you started up. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, just seems to be slowly moving into that direction. So, I went to the park in Tampa and did a few healings there where some people asked for a chakra healing. And so those are the members of the webinar. So so what I did is I record it. I do like a reading of what I see in the chakras. I go chakra to chakra, And the healing sort of, it's there, but it's like a lot of layers. So I'm still getting used to how to do it, but I'm like opening up the chakras as I go and healing different parts of it. And as I go in, I see different lifetimes. A lot of them are mostly, what I'm seeing is galactic lifetimes. More than human lifetimes. I think I'd see more human lifetimes, but I see there's a combination. But mostly it's galactic lifetimes. If you're a reptilian or an Arcturian that was in war or affected by war, a lot of that still is, all your lifetimes are in your chakras, but some of them are asking to be released, and you sort of run into a timeline where you, in your life here, that is bothering you. Some are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Some of that has to do with depression from another lifetime that you're not familiar with. So doing these healings is helping release that. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, especially since considering the time frame we are in, right? Because we are in an awakening time frame, and there's a lot of things going on with these energies. So it's kind of like with the aliens do have permission to come through and manifest themselves in this way. So when you are doing a healing, the fact that they're coming through has a lot also to do with that whole, awakening period too, I imagine.
Oh yeah. I mean, channeling and healing come together. The channeling is good for messages, but also the healing is, as for the chakra healing, basically, is going to play a large role. They're both going to play. They both have their place. Seems like the chakra healings, the Reiki that others do, that's going to become more widespread as the knowledge goes through our network of people, you can call it, to clear out these things and know what to look for. And instead of just going to get Reiki, you're not sure what, just to clear out blockages, but don't know what's there. At least if you get a reading like this, which you'll have some idea of what you're looking for, and helps the person release it. Sort of like cell memory. Like cell memory, when you know what it is that's bothering you, you can release it on your own, and someone else can assist you also. So.
Yeah, I think that's very, very beneficial when the healer is able to see, as you do, what's going on, what's being released in that chakra for the reason that you just described, so the person can choose to release it on their way. And then so they also can have familiarity with what's going on, because as you said, sometimes with Reiki, you don't always have a person who has like the ability to see things cleared or what's contained within the chakra. They just know maybe that it's blocked, if that, and then they're clearing it through. And depending on the person, you may feel like there's been some healing done, or you may not. It really depends. It's kind of like to a degree, it's kind of like it is healing, but it's kind of like what is it called? Like a long-term healing, or like a long-range, I guess I'm thinking of long-range plan, but it's like something that you should do like maybe little by little, perhaps in a therapeutic sense,
Yeah, but if you want to go into what I found with your, because I did a chakra healing with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to go into how that occurred today.
Oh yeah, please. I am an open book.
I was like, I was minding my own business at work. It's hard out from today. Just the week, I haven't really taken a break really. And minding my own business, and all of a sudden this whole thing with like Al Capone comes through. It's like, jeez. And you were connected to that. It's like, okay, this isn't Al Capone coming through. This is like a lifetime with you connected to him. And that's when I saw you had a timeline. Yeah. Oh yeah. In this timeline, I did see you. You're in your soul. Your aspect. I did see you come in as a child, one of his kids, but did not live very long. And then it just sort of started to open up more. I saw another timelines where you were more involved with him.
Mm-hmm.
even possibly being him. I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I even saw it hanging
Pretty
there.
cool. That makes me feel awesome.
That makes me feel even better. But
Hell
also,
yeah.
I didn't mention that one yet. And also, in this timeline, though, that we're aware of, you did have other. I saw three aspects of you,
Uh-huh.
and this I haven't told you yet. That
Okay.
the only reason they got into the bit with him is because they were poor. You needed a job. They needed to do something.
Yeah.
Feed themselves, family, and there's
Uh-huh.
three of them, and one of them was more into it, like more involved. There's another. I mean, other yous were involved, not you, but there were. I mean, technically it was you, but
yeah,
different versions of you. That's what other aspects are. It gets very, very confusing, but
yeah. We're gonna have to do a whole show on aspects.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's like,
and then the timelines and
yeah, the different aspects is basically it's you, but a different type of personality. Like you can have different addictions, or you have different sexual preferences.
like playing out
male,
different
female.
roles.
Yeah, you can be male, female, and it's but still you. And yeah, so it takes a lot for some people to grasp, but it is real. So
yeah, worth diving into for sure.
Yeah, I saw you as definitely three thugs. I call them thugs, but they didn't live very.
I like your goons description.
Goons
too.
Yeah. And they didn't. They're not alive anymore. There's two of them that were like reluctant but did it, and there's one that was really into it. That was like dedicated. So I've been sending your chakra healings for all of that, and I don't remember all this. Sometimes I record it, but sometimes I don't even know I was even doing all of this. Like connecting to you, just sort of. I'm not sure how that works, but it was interesting. But that's cool. I mean, and knowing that should help.
It's kind of like they knew you were connected to me, and they're like, "All right, this person can help."
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you feel like you're kind of off, and a lot of people feel that, and they don't feel like they're part of this generation or this time, the way things are. So yeah, it was definitely an exciting time back then. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, you had your own. It was.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, the very animated people back then. That's for sure, and even now, but then it was just. And a lot of. That's the other thing I picked up is that. A lot of people that are part of that era that did those type of things, they are here and unaware of it. They have no idea. And they don't like watching gangster movies either. I don't think so because they lived through it. It was not pretty. So,
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm not like really into slashers or gore movies or like killing people for no reason kind of thing. I was just like so averted to that. But action is okay. So this is an obvious question. So do you think like the people who also lived in the era are like your drug dealers and your drug, controller peoples of today, or could just?
Some of them are. Some of them, I think most of them are just average day Joe. They have no idea that all that is. They're like very to themselves, live an ordinary life, not having no idea that they're connected to something like that. I don't think most of them do. So they might
That's so exciting.
Yeah, they might feel something, but not really of knowledge of it.
Yeah, that should be more motivation for people to connect within and connect to spirituality so that they can know themselves better, so they can maybe like clear stuff out more, or maybe just like have some pride, because I'm like, wow, I was Al Capone. He's like the most quoted and most used like gangster in all of the Hollywood movies. He's like the most notorious gangster of that era. So I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I think I've had, I got one. I mean, I've had my doozies. I know one one came through as like I was the father of Nero. That's
Mm-hmm.
something to be proud of.
Uh-huh.
Like in
And who's
Roman times.
Nero? That sounds
Roman,
familiar.
that's Roman times, ancient
Uh-huh.
Rome. You burn Rome down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that guy.
That's major. I mean, he
Yeah.
burned the whole freaking city
hmm
down.
hmm He did more than that.
Did he describe? Yeah. Did he describe why or how did he went about that? And
So he can rebuild it. So he can put his name on everything, something like that. Something in those lines.
so he can brand it like Calvin Klein jeans.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was not. Yeah, that's either aspect of me was his father. I believe actually, I think my aspect. Yeah, it was not an easy time for anybody.
Yeah.
That's
Especially with characters like that running around.
yeah. I don't think he's not reincarnated after that. After that, I was like, no more for you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're banned for like a while.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming. I don't think. I don't think he. I think he went somewhere else and caused trouble somewhere else.
Oh,
Maybe.
so he's not learned his lesson.
I don't
Did
know. Who
he?
knows?
And I imagine he didn't cross over that well.
You'd be surprised. No, I don't think he did.
Some do. I mean, it's been a long time, right? So it's like he's got
Yeah, he should
to
be over there by now.
adjust it. I mean, like Hitler's. I understand Hitler's like an archangel now or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I just put out the crazies. Yeah, I just put out the. They gave. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he was an archangel. A lot of people
Uh-huh.
weren't too thrilled about that one.
I can understand the reasoning, though.
Yeah. Well,
I
yeah,
can
because you.
see it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that to a degree, like people who cause such harm to Earth um, uh, have to also, their soul has to love a lot because they're putting themselves in a situation where they're judged and hated and things like that, of course, through their actions, but because they accepted a role to a degree, a role to play, they're playing out. Um, and that role is for an end. And I understand his role was, even in the way it played out, to unite or bring, like, I guess, Europe together to a degree because it was divided
Yeah.
or something. So,
Well, yeah, and especially somebody that knows that type of darkness, knows how to deal with darkness and bring them to the light. Of course, a lot of our archangels have been involved, nothing like that, but some of them probably have been that we're not aware of. I don't think Michael was part of that, but some of them, yeah, that's the role. That's to understand darkness and then to, help others out of it because our cycles are, our world and other worlds are. New worlds are made all the time, so new experiences. So we're not the only game in town. Best for life on planets.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I just had a question because I have some questions of Al Capone since you brought him up. If you can, like, pick anything up, my friend Megan has questions of him, and I guess the question she had was, what was the spiritual basis for his lifetime as a criminal?
Let's see here. Well, there's always a spiritual basis as for. Well, what I picked up one thing about him was to assist the government and to create the FBI. I think that a lot had to do. I did see a connection between the FBI and the mafia. Like the FBI was almost there fueling them.
Yeah.
So they can have their little, the police us in certain
Their
ways.
whole reason for being.
Yeah. I did see that connection. As for a spiritual connection, right now I'm not being told anything. But that was one of them. That's not a spiritual connection, but it is a connection.
Oh,
As
okay.
for, yeah, I'm not being told. They're not saying anything right now.
Oh, okay. And like, I guess another one is if this kind of goes on the same thing, was it contractual uh,
Oh
to
yeah,
a
it
degree?
was. Oh,
Uh-huh.
definitely.
Hmm.
When I
I
connect,
imagine.
when I connected to him,
Hmm.
I saw like all of our lives. We're just theater actors basically here on this world, and we're just playing roles here. We're leading up to a certain direction that we're in right now, and we're going into many timelines are already designed. They already know what's going to happen hundreds of years in advance. So it's like they build this character up,
Hmm.
or this. It's I'm getting more connected to all that. They build a character up to get a certain part of society in a certain way, or
Hmm.
to build society. I don't know. To as for Capone, this connection here spiritually, yeah, I'm not being told anything. There might not have, there must have been one, but I'm not being told anything. But it was
Oh, okay.
definitely a contract, and many of those celebrities are all contracted. The ones that
Hmm.
are playing major roles in our lives are contracted somehow, even the ones that are negative and positive. It's it
Kind of
starts
like a
out
push and pull, right?
well, like ISIS out, in the Middle East.
Hmm.
That's supposedly here also, which I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised.
Hmm.
A lot of that is a snowball effect. Like one
Hmm.
event starts this event, and that event starts this event. The same thing
Hmm.
will happen to Capone. It's the same.
Hmm.
It's just ISIS is sort of the same thing. It's our invention. It's just, but it still is contracted though. That's what
Right.
makes it interesting. I don't
I
know.
understand that, like, groups like ISIS or any like
Mhm.
groups similar to them. I mean, you can even say, like, for example, narco trafficking. I say that a lot because I'm in Miami, but uh, like there's a kind of like a, like, they are the result of our collective. Um, you know, for example, if, you could say they're the result of our collective fear. And it's just kind of, uh,
Yeah.
like you said, one thing snowballing into another, and what we have like is a group like ISIS manifested.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Do you want me to channel the Prime Creator or
Yeah, yeah, sure,
anybody?
yeah. We got some we got some questions for him.
Okay, because there's I don't know if we have time for another one, but you have probably time for.
Yeah, we'll fit in what you can, and if
Okay.
it doesn't meet the time constraints, we'll see what we can splice or go over with,
Okay. All
or
right.
use maybe as part of another um,
Okay. Well, Elvis is here too,
segment. Oh, yay!
so I kind of know who's going to come through the webinars recently. I'm not always known, but definitely knew that Prime Creator is going to come through, and most likely Elvis is going to make his appearance.
So there's kind of like a queue of people just waiting to come through, like, okay, it's my turn now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not always aware who's going to come through, but this recently because of certain events. Oh yeah, because I got it. I guess I mentioned this before. Because I got attacked by a Zeta and a
Oh,
reptilian,
yeah. Yeah, let's discuss that.
and that's where the healing came through. The help from a friend of mine who brought healing into that to clear that out. Because yeah, it was like last Thursday night. I could say, yeah, it was August 18th. It was on Thursday, and somebody else also said I was attacked. They didn't know. They felt that something was going on during my webinar, before or after. I'm not sure when. And then Friday, I was felt kind of drained, and then I was gonna usually do a Q&A where I just read people's questions on YouTube. That submit their questions ahead of time, and I was too tired to even do that, so I was just wiped out. And That was the day before I went to Legoland. Even when I went to Legoland, I felt kind of out of it. And it was a reptilian and a gray were just trying to shut me down because I've been sending healing to other people. So that's
The
the big
healing
thing.
of that is partially related to extraterrestrial associations.
Yeah.
And what do you think the basis is for their anger with regards to that? Do they just want people, those specific ones want people just to kind of remain like somehow how hurt with relations to those past connections?
Oh yeah. They don't want anybody getting healed. They want to keep everybody at low vibration. And they don't. More people get healed, the more they lose their control here. These
Yeah.
are malevolent ones that, and of course, you can't see them because they're in a higher vibration. So people think when you talk about them, everybody thinks you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in a world in the universe. There are things here. We have Pokemon Go, and that's great and everything, but there's a lot more going on.
Yeah. How about the
We have spirit guides and angels, and even the Catholic Church acknowledges at least angels. So, and other religions acknowledge angels, but they don't see them, but they can feel them, depending on which religion you're connecting to.
Yeah, because some are like, yes, God, but no angels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like,
or there were only 3. What are you talking about? Who's this
yeah,
for?
exactly. It's only a couple, and it's just all these rules and everything, and it's just.
All you need is Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And some religions only acknowledge Jesus and just go on and on. It's just frustrating. So the Prime Creator I connect to is very playful. I mean, meaning he's there to help you raise your vibration. He's pretty funny. He can be at times, depending on what's going on. I do feel the heat of the world gets to him sometimes, the negativity, but he tries to have a good attitude towards everything. He did a video about, the Prime Creator watches Netflix. So that's
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
So, people like, just trying to help people raise their vibration. That's all. So.
And spirits do keep track of what's going on in Earth. I understand there's like a cool, like, they have like little holographic things where they can kind of like turn the page and see what's going on in Earth and, I don't know, catch up with the Kardashians or something. I don't know if they want to.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely believe that. Definitely. Okay. All right. Well, I'll connect to the Prime Creator. Should be interesting.
Okay, and, cool.
We'll see how much. Give him some time, then let know back to her for a little bit. See how that goes.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Okay, sounds good. So I've already grounded, so it shouldn't take that long for me to connect. So.
Okay.
Greetings.
Greetings, Prime Creator.
Yes, thank you. In Prime Creator, yes, another word for God. But I am also your friend, your neighbor, but we are all soulmates of each other. Another misconception on your planet, but that is fine. Yes, my message for your Earth, yes, to give yourself a break, to chill out, to take a moment and enjoy life for once. As some find being angry as joy for life, they don't understand. Many that get into a relationship, they forget the joy and just bring in a lot of drama. And for all those that do this, to mellow out a little bit. Life doesn't have to be that hard, only because you make it hard, because you don't have everything that you want, which is understandable, but still, it's because you're not always caring about the little things that matter most. You miss out on what's important and then dwindle off the things that you do not have and forget about what you do have. And this is where much depression comes. So enjoy life. Enjoy what you have. That is the message from the other side, the angelic realms. So if you have questions.
Yes, Frank Creator. I actually have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Please.
Well, before I go on to the others' question, my question is, what is the spiritual basis, if any, or ramifications for those involved in pornography, prostitution, and things like that?
That is what you call a case-by-case scenario, but it is many are indulging in joys that turn into more of burdens on life, and they have to go through much karma depending on what their role is in these type of situations, depending if someone gets hurt. But many choose to these environments to enhance their abilities, enhance their joys. They don't find joy in life, but they do find joy in their sexual escapades. So they put all their focus on that and then forget everything else, then lose themselves. So there's much there to. That's kind of like many questions in one question. Do you have anything like detailed, like a simple version of that?
So let's say you have a young lady who's interested in pornography as a career.
Yes.
And she has nobody pushing her into that field. She just wants to make a buck and have some fun while doing it. Is that completely fine, or will that have a spiritual effect on her?
There would be no spiritual effects on that, because many that work for the oil companies is probably no different or better, for that matter, as for what it does to the environment. So going in their sexcapades is, yes, it's hard on your body. That would be the only thing. And it is, your body is not really developed for that type of action constantly. So that is where the wrong is, but that's only because your body's just not built for that, not in this environment. So that's the only thing that it will be of a consequence of that. But other than that, not really.
Okay.
What's happening to your environment is more crucial. What's happening to your children is more crucial. You can tell of those that are predators and things of that sort that we watch carefully.
Yes, and then also predators in that pornography industry who take advantage of, like, filming pornography to sell like certain perversions that are kind of hard to stomach.
Yes, and the pornography situation. No, notice that's been around forever. Now you have entertainment to expand on that. But what do you think back in the caveman times, when you have nothing else to do with their moments, and in your Middle Ages and on? What do you think they do with their time? But now you have entertainment to throw it all in your face, and it has increased the situation tremendously, where it does make many addicted to it. Because many do not know who they are. They forget. They become very depressed. And they only want one thing, and that is a sexual experience. And they put their whole life. Now, this has been around forever, but yes, the numbers have increased. And those that are running these entertainment fields know that, and do not care as long as they get money for it. It is a very complicated situation, but there is much karma to that. Those that indulge in the business of pornography, there is some karma because of that. Those that run it. Not the ones that are performing in it. Some that are, but most of the ones that are running it will have some karma feedback from that.
And is that because to some degree they will be ultimately responsible for some wrongdoing that occurs underneath their watch?
Yes. Because what they're doing is wrong morally. They just know that this is causing many to be addicted. There is many layers to this, but it does cause addiction. They are well aware of it. They care only about the money, but they can soft it up a little bit, let's put it that way, where it's not so in your face.
I understand. And these addictions you're describing, would you think they're like addiction to drugs, so that some of these ladies and men can kind of sustain the type of activity they're belong to, or like maybe even laundering or funneling drugs, like using that as a vehicle for the drugs to pass through, things like that, like alcoholism, things like that.
Yes, all those. Yes, correct.
And I imagine ultimately the people who are in agreement or wanting to do these things at some point, that they do have like some kind of spiritual kind of, for lack of better words, awakening, and don't always feel well with themselves, after years of practicing this.
Yes, it is. It is quite unfortunate how many have chose to make their lifestyle, their money, and have chosen to sacrifice other people's lives in many ways so they can become richer. And it's all in different types of entertainment, but definitely in the pornography world, yes. But yes, money laundering is definitely a high one in that list. There is much illegal activities, definitely. And for those that even say they're not illegal, you'd be surprised. They're very good at hiding what is going on.
Yeah, I've seen some that where the actors or actresses look significantly young.
Yes.
I imagine. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, there is much going on that is behind the scenes. That is not very. There's so much that's not seen and not reported on, because many even news organizations are paid off to not say anything. So there's a wrong road of all of this.
I understand that there's just a long-standing of human trafficking in general, like throughout this country, and it's filtered throughout even through our politicians for their use, and probably even to bribe them or blackmail them to act a certain way.
Yes, all that exists.
Kind of feeding on their weaknesses and addictions to a degree.
Oh yes, especially those stars that wish to be a part of these type of environments. They are taken advantage of often. Yes, constantly. It happens in Hollywood. It happens in your pornography. It happens in all entertainment somehow, somewhere.
And that brings me on to my next question. I noticed a lot of what it looks like kind of like a conditioning, or just a pattern in many celebrities, and it'll be like the one hand over the eye and the monarch butterfly symbol. Oh, there's a lot of symbology, and I know that symbology is neutral. It's all about how you utilize it. However, they seem to have hijacked it. But I understand that some of these gestures, like the hand over the mouth, the eyes, that kind of thing, it's significant of somebody who's gone under some kind of programming to a degree.
Yes, that is true. They are part of this Illuminati brainwashing that is within your music industry. And the reason they do this is to show symbols of power and that they are under control. When they cover one eye, or those symbolisms, all of them, they're those that are running this singer. Usually it's in music, but it can be in your movies also. Mostly it's in music. It's those that are running it are showing that this singer, this pop star is under control. And you don't always know who's controlling them. Not necessarily. Do not have their name. Then there's many people behind that one person. So knowing who this is never quite understood. Yes, you have your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, and yes, but their name is baked out there in the public, but there's many names that are not out there in the public that are part of these groups. You can say they're offshoots.
Oh, yeah, the offshoots. I understand that, speaking of which, a lot of these, offshoots are actually people who are in our everyday politics, who are our politicians, for example. I found out a while back that there's only one president we had that's not bloodline to a degree.
Yes.
And it's not President Obama.
Yes. That's correct. It is. One moment. Yes, your presidents are already chosen before they are elected. And your government is not your government, the one that you see. There is one that is hidden. As there are many, actually, you call it one government, there are actually many governments that are hidden. And your population is refusing to see this. So you continue the cycle as long as you wish, until you are ready to see all that is going on. And most do not wish to see what is happening. And once your population begins to, now your Europe, your Russia, and parts of your China are awakened to a certain extent, more than your America. Your America is awakened, but the numbers are very small. And many are not speaking out because they're afraid of what will happen, which is quite understandable.
Yeah, I understand. We're here in America and in the United States. We're very censored over here as far as what the new media puts out, and kind of it's to a degree. I see it as a nanny state. We're like just submitted to the country lawmakers' whims because we've allowed them to decide what's good for us, the best good, the highest good of all.
Yes, your China is more than the most censored, but your America is almost equal. It's done differently. It's the illusion of freedom. You have your internet that is free, but the information is usually false. There is some information, the information that is true is seen as false when it's actually true. And most of the lies, disinformation is from your major networks, your major newspapers, to keep your societies confused, just like your religions do.
Yeah, and it's up to us pretty much to figure out what's what.
Oh, yes. It is true. I can flip a switch and everything will be better, but that is not what I'm here to do. It is for humanity to figure it out on their own.
Yeah. I understand. Darn it. I hate it when I forget what I was going to say. Can you fill in? Just kidding.
When that happens, that means that you have too many things going on at once. And your mind is jumping over to one idea to the other. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's important enough, it will come back. If not, you will remember it some other time when it's needed.
Okay, thank you.
Most likely, I'm not the right one for that question. There are others here. That's okay.
Oh, it basically was, never mind, it escaped me again. Okay, Prime Creator, we have a few questions we'd like to ask you from our listeners. Is it okay if we ask them at this time?
Yes, there's one question I want to answer, though, about your Al Capone. One thing he was here to do, that question that was not answered before, is because to connect to him is not very easy. Yes, he was a partier. As you can see, he had a blast being who he was. He was just like, you're just not on the best behavior. Not like we have not seen that before throughout your Earth's history. We've seen it over and over, and sometimes we get tired of seeing it. But his best interest wasn't of others, but he did have a tender heart to him to a certain extent. For those, in some ways, he felt like he was a modern Robin Hood to some degree. But he was robbing the society of its innocence, but also forcing, from his perspective, forcing others to grow up. To let you know that there's a darkness in their world that he cannot fully explain. So what he does is he, in many ways, Capone had many parts of him to tell society that you are under control and you do not realize it. He knew that. He was well aware of it. And he was some ways, in his own way, letting others know that. He was even putting light on the FBI of how corrupt they were. In his own, now none of this was ever in your history, but he was showing how corrupt they were, as they were just as corrupt as their little organization. And according to Capone's point of view, they're just a bunch of kids trying to make it in the world, and your FBI and your government is the one to worry about the most. Because there was no jobs. There was no jobs during that time. Life was very difficult. I mean, what are you going to do to survive but rob banks and do what they did?
Yes, I understand. I understand that the FBI and then the CIA was created by these groups, for example, like the Illuminati, and they did one of them. They just staffed them with kind of like the Illuminati's worst to a degree, like the troublemakers are the ones that are not really good at running things at the high level to a degree.
Well, your Illuminati groups are the ones that are running your FBI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
They were not running your mob. Now your mob is technically ran by your Illuminati to a certain extent, not entirely, but halfway there. Yes.
I understand. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead. If you want to ask your questions also, I am okay.
I was going to ask about Herbert Hoover. I understand that he was basically the go-to guy to get their agenda carried out.
Yes. Yes, and he was appointed by many government officials to bring this organization together to police your people more than your mob. The mob gave it a reason to police the people. The idea was to eventually wiretap your people and keep an eye on them. Because this system that you are living under now was already seen back then. To watch everyone.
It's just a progression of what was started before. I know that we had some tribunals or some tribunals and hearings based upon all of the privacy violations carried out by the government.
Oh yes, they don't. Yeah, what is the American people going to do? Especially back then, and even now. I mean, what freedom do you truly have here in this America, at least? It is difficult to understand. During Capone's time, there was no way to. The jobs were very scarce. There was no way of supporting yourself. They gave you fancy things to buy, and that was nice, but that did not feed your family. So what other way to do than to become a gangster? So it was, in some ways, that was the modern, in his way, a modern Robin Hood to a certain extent. At least in his eyes.
So, do you think that also the government may have created problems such as the Great Depressions and some of these recessions just to kind of just create, number one, more fear, more reason for policing, and more, for example, violence and crime as a result?
Yes, it's your bankers that run your government. The bankers still run your government today. They have them all in their pocket. It's your bankers that caused this Great Depression so they can buy up what they want and control whoever they want. It is a way of strangling the human race. And now that has been safeguarded to a certain degree by your food stamp system is avoiding much of what happened in the 20s, which is good. At least your people are being fed somehow. It might not be a perfect system, but it is. It could be better. As for those that are starving, those in your homeless, which is still very unfair, but that will be healed eventually.
I wonder sometime if, especially with all of the programs that we have for homeless people to kind of recuperate, if some of them are being trafficked themselves to to beg for money. Like if there's networks for
Yes.
example, paupers.
Yes, sir. It's not a. It's a flawed system. Some of it has some relevance, but a lot of it is not entirely trying to help humanity. In some ways, it's trying to keep you in the situation that you're in.
I understand. Thank you for helping me with those
Yeah.
questions, Prime Creator. My next question will be from Eddie from Utah. And her first question is, what recommendations do you have for people who have trouble with self-love?
To find your things that bring joy into your life. One thing is to meditate. The other thing is to look in the mirror and enjoy who you see. Enjoy your laugh. Enjoy your personality. I would not use the word accept who you are, but enjoy who you are. It takes time for self-love to fully. Some take lifetimes. When I say lifetimes, some take lifetime. And many do not have self-love, go into relationships that they should have no business being a part of, because they don't know anything about themselves. And it's another way of avoiding yourself and your love for thyself. So you become obsessed over that other person because the love within does not exist. So it is very difficult to find self-love. It is a hard avenue, and it's different for everyone. But to enjoy you, meditate with yourself, get to know yourself. Sometimes being alone is the best thing that ever happened to you. Some that cannot be alone, they have self-love issues. Not always. Some have past lives where they're alone and it did not work out very well for them, so they have many reasons to not wish to be alone anymore, especially those that have been in jail for a long time in other lifetimes. So it's not always because of self-love. As for being alone, but sometimes being alone, loneliness is not exactly the proper word, but it's just loneliness just means that you do not love yourself. That is why you feel alone, because you do not have this self-love to fulfill yourself. Because how can someone else fill in your loneliness if you can't even fill in your own loneliness? So that has been mischaracterized for a long time.
I really resonate with that. Like, you can be alone but not lonely, and how can others want to be with you if you can't be with yourself?
You can't be with yourself. You just go cry and get very upset because you're alone. That is a self-reflection there.
Okay, my next question is also from Eddie, and there's some talk about the world resetting. I understand that the world is in a transitionary phase. I understand she's moving up in dimensions, and that we are going through a transition in that as well. However, she understands that there's going to be a reset, and her question is, if the world doesn't reset, what is the next phase for our spirits to go through, and what will be our purpose?
What? That joke. Okay. What is your purpose? That right there, that is for you to fill in the blank there. As for humanity's purpose, well, find your purpose first and let humanity figure out their own purpose also. As for reset, now there's different versions of reset. There's a spiritual reset and there's a human version of reset. The human version of reset, apparently many think are going to happen at the end of this year. Not what you think is what's going to happen. Now, a spiritual reset, that happens all the time. Many awaken, many become unawakened. As for spiritual energies, it happens all the time. Many are not ready to be spiritually awakened, so they shut down and close down for good reason. Some are not ready. It's a case-by-case situation. It's quite understandable, especially those that see many that have crossed over and see them walking around in their room all the time and feel like they're going to lose their mind. It's understandable why you would shut down spiritually. So, for a spiritual reset, you're going to go through one around October, but it's not going to be what you think. It'll be a cleanse of information, a cool water of information to come through your society, your world society. But we cannot give away everything. But as for many who believe that your aliens are going to be showing up, everything's going to change. You always change. You're constantly changing. You're constantly evolving. So some of these are putting these predictions up. That's the human side of them doing this, which is fine. And any positive change we are all for it. But maybe not the change that is it a spiritual change though? Is it a reset of ego? Much of that is a spiritual reset of ego right now that you are hearing through many channelers at this time. Instead of predicting the future, why don't you just enjoy the moment as it is? Many are very unhappy here. I understand that because they do not have self-love. They're not happy with their current environment. It is time to enjoy the environment because the more you do these predictions, the more you go nowhere. Some will move, some will not. It is up to you to. I know it's disappointing for many. Everybody wishes for the aliens to show up right away the next couple of years, but most of your world, as you can tell, is not ready for that. It is to enjoy who you are, as other aliens have said. Through this conduit, why not enjoy the moment and not worry about the future so much? Make the best of your day instead of thinking about this entire world's going. And then when this spiritual reset, say, I told you so, and the human ego is scratching, it's patting itself. I want to say scratching on its back. It's patting itself on the back. The ego is bringing up this whole reset situation because many are unhappy here. Quite understandable. But to find happiness within your day, you can have a better day today. And not worry about the future so much. Because the more you enjoy the day, your vibration goes up. If your vibration's up, everyone else follows you eventually. And nobody's worrying about predicting anything. They're just enjoying the moment. And for these aliens that are doing these predictions, that is fine, but it doesn't always help. Because many still have no self-love. They have still negativity around them and still can't wait for the economy to collapse. So everyone will waken up to the aliens that you're not ready for. So it was different viewpoints and everything. So, yes. Okay. That is all. I have more to go on with that, but I went on and on. So go on. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I like that you mentioned how a lot of people are predicting what's going to happen, not really enjoying right now. And a lot of those are people who are very spiritual, but they're also bringing people along with that too. A lot of people in the spiritual community preach live in the now, but then they're like, oh, there's going to be a spiritual reset. And as much as I love the alien information, updates from the Pleiadians, it's like, it also kind of keeps you future focused. Like, this is what's going to happen, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what to expect, So you're kind of still not living in the now. So it is for you to measure yourself,
It is okay to have these predictions. It's fine. It's part of your soul growth. But it is good to enjoy your life and not worry about what's coming, what's going. Just enjoy the moment.
Thank you, Prime Creator. And the next question I have, also from the same person, asks, those who are awoken or awakening want to know your plan. And if so, what is it?
I'm not sure if I'm understanding that. What's my plan?
I think the question is coming from a kind of like a religious experience point of view. Like, for example, the person who's asking this has learned the plan of salvation, kind of like the steps and checks and balances you need to go through in order to go and be, on the next level, go and be with God in the celestial kingdom.
Well, you can be with God anytime you want. I am there with all of you. But are you with you? Well, I am there, but are you there? I am there waiting for you to show up. So as for your spiritual reset, what is the plan? The plan is to connect with you and to say hello to you, have a conversation with you. You don't have to look at me, oh, you're God, I have to bow. None of that. I am your friend like anybody else. Just here to bring more joy into your life, to help you find your path. Many religions have taken many on different directions. It is a simplistic point of view I have that many have made it complicated. What the plan is for you world to find. It is from basic. My plan truly is for you to be happy here, and that is all. The third density is fine with the wars going on. That is your choice. But is this where you feel happy at? Is to bring your vibration up, is to wherever you are happy, I am happy, basically. That is the plan. The plan is self-love and love for everyone. To have a peaceful existence to a certain extent. You do need the negativity is there, it's needed for soul growth. I am not one to take that away from you. So you will find me when you are ready. Okay.
Thank you, Prime Creator. The next question is, same person wants to know, what is your reach?
My reach is everywhere.
Is it infinite?
It's infinite, yes. It's on Netflix, is on your phone, it is wherever you like. All sexual preferences, I am everywhere.
You're the main guy.
Yes. I am within the drops in your skies from your rain, and I am all over the place.
Thank you so much. And I think this kind of goes along with the question, the answer you had before, but Lisa wants to know, how does one get close to their God? And I think that question was kind of like asked in political correctness. So I guess she means like you.
How do you get, well, there's different versions of me. What version you want to connect with? What one that you feel comfortable with? Is it the one with the long beard? That is fine. Is it the one that is bald? That is fine. However you want to view me, you can view me as a little chicken if you like. It does not matter. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. And this energy is fine. It is however you want to perceive me. Well, I am there with all of you to bring your more positivity into your environment if you wish to do so. If not, that is fine. I am still there for you to connect to. I'm always there for you to connect to no matter what. Having a relationship with all human beings here is, you can say, my goal. Yes. If you're looking for that, I know I'm answering your last question, but that's pretty much it. Hopefully that makes sense.
One question is also, which one's better, praying out loud or in your head?
Does not matter. Out loud is nice, but in your head's fine also. Some are too tired or they're in a busy place. Both are fine.
Can you please tell us ways that we can mitigate this Zika virus problem we have in Miami? There's towns that are like actually pretty much shut down business-wise as of this. And then is there a spiritual purpose? Is it real? Can we just bless it?
It is real. You can bless it. You can pray for it to leave. But what is going on is your government is not being fully honest about it, and they are not in exactly all that. They're not in the business of making it go away anytime soon either. They're so disorganized. Many in the government wish to remove it, and there are others that do not care. As I can tell, they can't hide anything from me. So it would be cleared out. If your health system was developed better on this world, that would have never happened. That virus was created in a laboratory also and put out into your environment to bring more fear, to lower your vibration. There is a reptilian energy around it also, but not just that. There are others involved, but mostly a human hands were involved with it. As always, as with your AIDS virus, as for your cancer, it is still man-made. There is insectoid energy there as for building the virus to implement it, as you can tell.
Thank you. I really appreciate your weighing in on that. Sorry, go ahead.
As for the free to clear your environment, to ask for protection, as for angelic protection, so you do not receive this. But if you do, there are cures for it, but yes, they make it very difficult to find it. But yes, it is. As for what is going on, your government, as much as I want to say there's a cure for it that's easy to connect with, the environment that you are in is making it impossible to reach. So pray, and this won't be resolved anytime soon either. Blessings.
My next question is real quick.
Yes.
How much of Miami is positive?
40%. Most of it is confused. A lot of it likes to party. Most of it, there is a lot of violence there, not always reported. It is a party town to a certain degree, at least by your beaches, which is good. But sometimes those party areas can get kind of out of hand. But at least many leave there actually with a high vibration, those clubs. They do leave with a higher vibration, some do. If they didn't have too much alcohol or drugs.
Or maybe a disease they picked up on the way.
Well, that will lower your vibration most likely. Maybe not at first. Sometimes.
Thank you for weighing in on that.
Yes.
And before we close, Prime Creator, is there anything else that you wanted to tell us?
Your society, your world is beautiful, even if it does not see it that way. Many of you are using looks against each other. And different types of ideas against each other also. And this is not how you come together as a world community. It's to set your differences aside and love your people for who they are. That would make your life a lot easier to experience. That would make your communities more trusting of each other. Trust is very difficult here, I see. But if you do distrust, your world will never heal. And many within, as I hear all the time, within your spiritual communities, that your aliens are going to come down soon, everything's going to be fine by this reset. But trust on this world does not exist enough. How do you think these other worlds survive? They have trust for each other. This world does not have trust. It's very little. So that is where much of the healing needs to be done for your aliens and your spirit world to fully come into your environment in a positive way. That is all I have. Is there anything else?
No, Prime Creator, thank you for being here.
Yes.
I appreciate your presence.
Did you want to hear something from another one that is here? A quick visit? Yes.
Yeah.
Blessings to you.
Blessings to you. Much love.
Yes. Greetings. God, this is... try to keep my language. This is Elvis. Greetings.
Welcome, Elvis.
Yes, you thought that... See, finally I got through. Just Novak keeps kicking me out. I got him through first. Notice how my name pops in here and there. And then Novak pops in, because he keeps rattling me out. But this is my... It's been some time since I've been here. Ping Pong Elvis. Oh, whatever you want to call me. That's fine. Nobody else has that name. But I do have a... Oh, yes. For anyone who's wondering, I am a reptilian. Green. I do shapeshift. I don't do parties. No birthdays. I don't even understand your whole birthday situation, but that's fine. I did have a lifetime with the military at one time on your world for like 5 minutes. That was more than I can handle as a human, but whatever. That was too short to get in, but that's fine. As we can shapeshift, we can make ourselves human. But the reason I am here... Oh, wait a minute. Do you have anything before I go on?
Oh, no, please go on. I'll wait until you've discussed.
First off, this Elvis, every time I try to come through, I get kicked out. Notice how when I come through, it's like, hey, this is Elvis, and then it's all of a sudden Novak. It's because I get pushed out. But not this time. I made it finally. I am Vespod, reptilian. Maybe not the best looking, but well, your humans aren't exactly the most prettiest thing in the world either. Far from it. Especially, well, of course, we don't exactly smell the best, but you don't either. But anyway, whatever. From our perspective, yes, there's many reptilians here that want to come through. So I was here first, so
maybe it's because we're in Miami. Is Miami very reptilian?
Well, everything's very reptilian. It's just this conduit, Ivan, is very reptilian, so he's got a lot of reptilian relatives hanging around a lot. And he did have a little skirmish. That's one of the other reasons. Yes, there was a reptilian that was attacking him, and a gray also. The reptilian was more clever, but the gray wasn't helping much either. They're trying to lower his vibration so he can't help others. That is true. He's also changing, when Ivan does these healings, he's changing other people's time clocks, meaning they become more positive, more connected to spirit, more connected to their alien friends, more likely to heal others, channel. When you start helping people in this environment, many malevolent beings don't care much for that. They're keeping your vibration low because this is what they know best. They know how to keep your earth concealed from its true self. They don't want your humans connecting with aliens because your race will become very powerful. They don't want that, meaning their fun will be over. This is why they do this. They knew that from the beginning of your Earth history. They're more than happy to keep your Earth hidden of aliens. Of course, aliens have been through your history, yada yada, the Bible, Leonardo da Vinci, blah blah blah. We've been all over the place. We're on your walls, sketchings, and all that. So we're, it's pretty obvious, especially a lot of your religions talk about flying things. Oh yeah, wonder where that came from. Some of those are my old relatives. But The reason these malevolent beings, what, you're David Icke? Now, I like David Icke. I don't have a problem with him. Yes, he talks about the negative ones all the time, but he's not really ready to talk about the positive ones. His message is so strong with talking about the negative ones, meaning letting people know why change that. And he's not fully understanding of the positive ones yet. He doesn't truly trust them. He thinks it's a negative one trying to be nice. So when you have a channel where a channel is a positive one, that's saying a lot. That gives us finally, look, we finally have somewhere where we can talk. It's like, maybe now can we say our side of the story? Because David, we love him to death, but man, you're not helping us at all, man. You're just making us look like, you're not making us look, I'm trying to keep my language really clean here. You're not making us look really good at all. But it is helping most people know that reptilians exist. But you have your felines, you have your canines, those are all aliens. Your animals here, your giraffe, your monkey, they all have alien connections too. Knock on, hello, human. I mean, seriously, you are on an alien planet. Yes, this is a seed planet, you can say, because there's so many different extraterrestrials here. As for your animals, have made their home here. Not many worlds have this many different diverse of animal types. They do, but here it's different. It's hard to explain here. They do have different aliens, but not like this. It's, we'll talk about it next time in the next Elvis episode. But it is, anyway, it doesn't matter. But for your humans to realize that we don't exist, that's going to do change eventually. Yes, you understand many humans still don't really like each other. We understand that. I mean, how are you going to like aliens? You don't like each other. And we're not exactly going to teach you how to like each other. We're not going to take you to nursery school and just freaking, come on, really? So yeah, you guys have got a lot of work here, but we are going to make sightings in your skies to let you know we're here. But that's about it. We're basically here to connect to those that are ready to connect with us. But other than that, we can't talk to those that are not ready for us because they all have guns and they're not very friendly. They think they can handle an alien. Yeah, as long as they carry a shotgun. That doesn't help much. So, but we are here. We are here to communicate with who we can communicate with. And this is why you see our sightings in your skies here and there, your phoenix lights. It's another indication to those that are ready for us and to help. We're here to connect to those that are ready to assist them in helping others. This is why we channel. This is through healing, through other methods. We got to start somewhere. But yeah, your humans got a long ways to go. Anyway, yeah, okay. If you have a question, that's up to you. If not, I'll sign autographs and see you guys later.
I remember watching Land of the Lost growing up, and they always had like these negative reptilians on there, and they were dressed like in a suit and stuff. And I wonder if the idea came from their connections with you, or if it was like predictive programming, something says saying, hey, there's these things, they exist, but we're telling you they don't.
Yeah, we're all over the place. We're obviously we're around during forever, and you're what is this called? That President Eisenhower. That's when it sort of became public, but not really. When your public government became known to us. And yeah, but we've been around. They've been trying to put us in your TVs for a while, and they have, in a certain extent, in your fiction here and there. So yeah, your movie V, I'm not really proud of that one, but at least it shows everybody we're here. Maybe not the best. Maybe not the best representation of us, but hey, we're famous like the Greys. What can you say?
I guess it's because the 80s cinematography or filming production wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, with V was a soft. V was to terrify whoever we can terrify. Well, not us, but they're trying to scare the population, those that were aware of us. And just like your Men in Black movie, just like your Jurassic Park, they put it out there. Most people aren't going to believe it. It's like they're like laughing at humanity. Not yes and no. And also to make it fictionalized, hoping humanity doesn't wake up either. They're laughing, but also they're terrified of humanity, also, those that are running things. Because as soon as humanity wakes up entirely, their show's over.
Yeah, I just figured that out a little while ago, that basically everything that's fantasy is reality, and it's kind of their way of poking fun of us because we haven't figured it out yet.
Exactly. But it's also for them to predict to some of those were deals that were made with reptilians and your Men in Black to kind of knock the rumors down a little bit, to say, oh, that's just fiction. What the hell are you talking about? That's nothing. So if you actually do see it, you just think you're seeing stuff. How many reptilians rip their faces off, but you never know. Someday.
That would be painful.
Well, it'd be fake anyway. It'd be a fake. Just like your bee. Same thing. Some do have that.
Huh. Where they can like shed like in 2 seconds.
Yes, they can shed their human. Yes. Yes. Well, they got it.
That is amazing. So what recommendations do you have for us as far as like reducing our exposure to negative electromagnetic frequencies?
Well, move to an island that doesn't have any of that. Move to the desert where none of that exists. It finds you anyway, it seems. There's not much you can do about it because they're trying to put a grid around this world, which they pretty much have. As for seeing what everybody's doing on this world, no matter what, they have satellite technologies here also watching what you're doing also. These channelings, oh yeah, well, this is all in one, so they're just getting a hoot out of that one. It's like they realize that most humanity isn't noticing it, so they're kind of laughing about it. They're also playing with the numbers, also keeping others to not notice it either. So they are working behind the scenes in their own way.
That's very interesting. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
So what do you recommend for people to kind of like, I guess, to help them catch on or awaken or help others awaken?
To make yourselves known, to educate others on your social networks. That's what it's there for. That's the best you can do. Just let others know what you're doing, what's on your mind, what you believe in. And do not back down, what most won't. As for this, I'm answering your old question. Where you're speaking of the technology around that is affecting everyone. That's true. There's nothing much you can do about it. You can shield yourself with energy to pinpoint it and to diffuse it in a certain way. As for your Wyrns to assist you, they're very good at that. But as for awakening, is just to make yourself known. Just keep making your knowledge out there for everyone to see. Oh yes, the Greys want to say that. Post pictures about them. Everybody loves that.
They're actually the picture for my podcast on
yes.
sportsovertime.com.
Yes. Oh yeah, I saw. That's great.
Yeah, I talk about them a lot. Just kind of, I actually did a radio bit about them in school today. It's like, it was like, guess what alien is it? And then I kind of like described them a bit, and my friend was like, yeah, that's a Zeta Gray. And then I had to explain that one to the class.
That's good. Good for you. That's good. See, the Greys want to say, oh, Greys, They want to say if you use their images and your artwork, people don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you use the Weirins, people don't know what that is. They don't know what these others. Yes, those in your alien communities know, but the rest of the world doesn't know what you're talking about. Especially if you show a reptilian, they're really not going to know what you're talking about. But if you show a Zeta, they know exactly what you're talking about. So yes, using the Zeta, that was another reason. They're like the definition of your aliens. That would be one to use in your education of others. That's it.
How do you feel that you're not like first place in that?
We're always first place. I mean, we can, you know, we're a little bit too weird for humans to connect to. Of course, rays are weird, but those look cool. But if a human saw one, they'd be running. If they saw a reptilian, they'd be more than just running. They'd be doing other stuff that's not biologically. They'd be pretty scared. Even a friendly reptilian would scare the hell out of your society. As you can tell, if you see a crocodile with arms and legs walking around saying, "Hey, how's it going?" You're not going to get a good. It's not going to go well here too much. Yes, one thing I wanted to say. I haven't picked this up. Hasn't mentioned it yet. Been too tired. I will talk about this a little bit. This is interesting though. Those that become very plastic surgery, get addicted to plastic surgery. You realize what they look like when they get too much of that? Don't they look kind of feline looking?
They look kind of feline looking, yes.
They don't just look a little bit. They look like a cat person.
Like a lion of some sort.
And that is where your human form has come from. If your insectoids created your human form, you would look very insectoid. So you're going down. What's happening is this when they do these injections and all this nonsense, they're taking your body out of its physical, its form, and putting it back into its original formality. It goes back to what it knows best, and that's the feline energies. So those that say you're a feline, it is because it's true.
So a lot of the people who, do you think that a lot of the people who do plastic surgery were actually Lyrans, if that's what they do? Or are they just kind of have a propensity just to alter themselves in general?
They do have some Lyran connections to a certain degree, but mostly Pleiadian. Those connections come from different realities. I have to admit, some of that question got lost in some of the noise, so I don't know if you want to ask that again.
So do you think that when people, I'm asking you this because we're also in Miami, this is like one of the places where a lot of people get plastic surgery, when they do plastic surgery, even though it's, they're affecting their vessel, the body, does it affect basically their connection to spirit in any way?
Yes. Not with spirit, but just their body breaks down. Too much plastic surgery is not. You don't have the technologies or the tools to do it right. You're still very primitive in that regard. There are technologies out there where you can turn your face to whatever the hell you want it to look like, but you don't have that ability at this time. In its third density, it will work, but you don't have the technologies. So spiritually, but you are technically correct as for that spiritual. Because many are focusing on their face and their body and their looks. They're not realizing who they are within. They're afraid to look at that. So yeah, spiritually they are disconnected. That is true. And they have a long ways to connect to that, as you can tell. If they're going to go change their face 100 times, they got a lot of self-love issues there. But after they turn themselves into a feline, you can say, slowly they start to love themselves. Slowly. They do start to accept who they are eventually because they can't change it anymore.
Thank you for that. And do you have anything else for us, Elvis?
Not right now. Just that Novak keeps taking my spot, so I was here first. I'll deal with him later. But for your humanity, there is much of the galactic information going to be coming through soon. As you become more spiritually aware. For those that are spiritually aware, this information will help to a certain extent, but nothing too. Many are connecting to aliens that are not the popular ones. That is good. The more you're connecting to aliens that are foreign, you have your Pleiadians, your Arcturians, but there's so much more out there to connect to. So that is a good thing for many to connect to them, because there's a lot out there. So you're going in the right direction. There's no wrong. That is all good. As long as you're connected to the friendly ones, but 99% those are the friendly ones. So that's about it for right now.
Thank you so much for being with us and giving us your input. I really appreciate it, and we hope to speak with you again soon.
Yes. Blessings to you.
Blessings to you. Thank you, Elvis. Much.
Yes. Oh, there.
Hello. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah. So,
that was a really good run that you did there.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we're going to wrap up so you can rest. We've gone over a little bit, but that's fine. Ivan, can you tell our listeners where they can get in touch with you?
Oh yeah, you can go to ivanteller.com to find me. I also have a social network called worldorigins.net. You can go there and connect to white workers. Some are there here and there. They pop in and out, so that's cool. You have mobile apps you can go to also. As for the iOS and for Android, just type Ivan Teller on your Android phone or iPhone. So, and also we have a t-shirt shop. Just go to ivanteller.com and just about everything is there.
Thank you, Ivan. And thank you once again for spending time with us, and looking forward to discussing with you next week. For all you listeners on sportsovertime.com, listening to the Off the Deep End podcast, our next interview will be with Chris